industry to put thoughts in the students' heads as musicians. And I hope you feel like you've been grabbed by the nose and led into the concert, because we thought that was a pretty exciting way to start. That was called When Summer Takes Flight on Crystal Waves. You can read a little bit about the music if you hadn't had a chance in the program notes. My name is Brian Vanderbilt, if you don't know. I hope you know that already, but we are here for our final spring concert of the year, and I'm so glad to see you all here. I kind of had summer in mind when I programmed this concert. I picked out one piece and it had kind of a feel, and I picked out another that, oh my gosh, I've got a theme. So summer, right? That was the last one. The next one, I think the circus traveled only in the summer. I'm not sure it was a winter thing, but the circus rolling into town, small town in the late 1800s, early 1900s, was a huge deal. So come to the fair. It's maybe not a circus, but it's the fair. Come to the fair. That's a summertime activity. And then we end with the circus march, which is another one of those things that people flock to all the time. So we hope you enjoy our kickoff of summer, even though it's about a month early. I have announcements and things that I'll do later, but we'll come back to that after we play for you this next piece by local composer Pierre McFarland, Come to the Fair. A couple things I wanted to communicate with you before I leave, and Mr. Hartson may or may not hit these again. Number one, our next thing we do, we're not done this year. Two of our groups, you'll see there in the box on the back side of the program, two of our groups still perform. One is the marching band, and that's all 7th and 8th graders. Tomorrow, if anyone that has a band tomorrow, we will start marching, like tomorrow. So 7th graders who have never, walked forward and played their instrument at the same time, we start tomorrow. Believe me, it's always awesome to watch the quick progression we make. I think we're going to see each other 5 times and then have a parade. But it's such a great thing because at the end of the day, it's 10th period and we get to go outside and enjoy some weather, learn where our left foot is, and how to play a little music while doing it. It's a hoot. So that brings me to the parade. The parade is Memorial Day Monday at noon. And if you're an experienced mom or dad, we meet at Christ the King Church, as you know, at 11:30 a.m. The parade steps off at noon. We are approximately the first third of the parade. We are almost always done latest 12:40, 12:45 maybe, and then the students are free to go. If you are unable to attend because you have a prior commitment out of town or a thing that you're doing or a who's it, what's it, and all that kind of stuff, send me or Mr. Hudson a note, either a paper form or an email, let us know. We know it's a busy weekend, but it's really a good time to pray. The weather is forgiving. We have a nice time. We march down the street and everybody cheers and it feels pretty good. And all we do is we ask the kids, we're not doing special shirts or anything like that. We just say wear Spartan white or blue, just like we do at the Bandorama concert. We'll march down the street looking like that. Shorts are okay, and definitely shoes. So that gets us to the parade. The other event you'll see listed is the Blues in the Night, and that is for students who participate in the jazz ensemble, both 7th and 8th grade, and frankly, all the way up through high school. That's all of our groups will perform, some vocal, some instrumental, and I think there might even be a jazz combo that's going to get involved. That is going to be here in the high school this year. It's a change from years past. It's an outstanding event that is on Saturday, May 31st. Get your tickets soon. If you're a mom or a dad of a jazz ensemble parent, there's a form that you can fill out and get tickets because there's this great dinner they're serving. I think it's going to be like pasta or something this year. I'm looking forward to that part. Of course, I don't care much about the music, but the food, yeah. So look forward to that. It's a great event, and what a great way for us to wind up our year with our students who have devoted so much of their after-school time to playing jazz music, which is what a great thing to be able to do. Last thing I promise, and I'll be done with this all this talking business. 7th graders, we asked to come in the summer and play a little bit to become 8th graders. It's part of the rite of passage to show us that they still know how to play their instrument a little. We will send you a postcard. If you're the parent of a 7th grader, it'll be brightly colored, usually in the pink or yellow variety, and it will list just times that we're going to have some group lessons in August. Love to have students come just so they can dust everything off, make sure your instrument still works, find out if you need new reeds, things like that before the school year starts. Can't believe we're already talking about these guys being in 8th grade. It's been a pleasure to work with them all year long. We've made a ton of progress. It's been a very positive experience, and we hope to see them grow still as 8th graders. Mr. Hartson might have a different story to tell about what the 8th graders do this summer, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they all turn into 9th graders. So we will end the 7th grade performance with the big circus march. The big top is there, and it'll go rip-roaring by.
think we did a pretty nice job of that. So now that we have you moved all to the edge of your seats, we're ready to go on and do some announcements. I'll be really, really quick with this because Mr. Ramsey hit most of it. What I want to tell the parents of 8th graders is that our summer band program for 9th grade is a little bit different from what you're used to. We've always done the 2 weeks in August, where there have been a couple of days a week for the kids to come and play. Now that they're moving into high school, our focus needs to move to marching band. So this will all be mailed out to you. I think we do a letter and we'll send out infinite campus blasts. What we have is a couple of rehearsals in the end of July. Usually it's the last 2 weeks of July. Tuesday, Thursday night, and it'll happen for 2 weeks. And then right before school starts, that week or so before, we'll have a couple of rehearsals in the afternoon where we'll get the band together, teach these guys how to march halftime style and our pregame style, and they'll learn the basics of field marching as opposed to parade marching, which they've been doing for a few years. So please be checking your email and mail for information on that forthcoming. Our next piece is a piece by Mozart, who I think we're probably all familiar with. And we've probably all heard that Mozart was a genius and a child prodigy, but I just want to put into perspective exactly how much of a prodigy and how much of a genius he was. I told the band right before we came out, they confirmed my suspicions that the vast majority of them are 14 years old. When Mozart wrote the piece that we're about to play, which was a full 4-movement work for symphony orchestra, he was 16 years old, only 2 years older than the people on stage. Now, writing a symphony is a huge accomplishment for anybody of any age, so to be able to do that as a 16-year-old is really quite amazing. Now, to put this really into perspective, this piece is part of his 124th composition. So by the time he was 16, he already had more pieces in the bag than a lot of composers have in a lifetime. So Mozart was a real special composer and musician, and it's really great that we have an opportunity to play his music. So we hope you enjoy finale from Symphony No. 15. turned out that this last piece just had so much energy and so much excitement to it that we couldn't really follow it up. So we put this at the end. This is a piece, as you can see in your program, called The Night's Last Ride. And we had a real interesting discussion. I'm going to surprise you guys in just a second. We're going to play the ending for them. So focus your eyes on the last 2 or 3 letters. There's a program or a message or a picture associated with the title, The Night's Last Ride. And the composer states in the score that it's meant to depict a knight riding through a town on a cobblestone street, racing to save some sort of citizen of the town who's in distress. But the title is The Knight's Last Ride, which assumes some sort of unfortunate end to the night, like maybe he should have stayed home instead of riding down the cobblestone. So we discussed the last measure, which ends with these 4 punctuated chords. We're going to demonstrate these for you right now. What is that? It's got to be something, right? So I asked the kids, and they came up with some really great suggestions. A lot of the suggestions had to do with sword thrusts and arrows clanging into armor. One especially creative answer was, it was a dragon going chomp, 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 chomp. When we talked about this, some of the kids asked me to email the composer to find out, because we had a lot of great answers, and there was a lot of vigorous debate, and we wanted to know. So I did that. I emailed Rob Grice, and fortunately he got back to me. We got this 24 hours ago, and I read this to the students, and I just want to share this reply with you. It's short, but it's really interesting to hear the composer's input on this, and I think it'll help you as listeners. So here's what Rob Grice had to say to us. Good morning, Mr. Hartson. Great to hear from you. Interpreting the meaning of music takes the performance to a much deeper connection for the students. Your students have some very good suggestions as to the meaning of the ending. Actually, the students of the Northland Middle School created the title Tonight's Last Ride. This was commissioned work for a celebration at Northland Middle School in Colorado. I created the music to fit their title. As far as what the ending of the music actually means, I feel that the interpretation is completely open to the performers and the listeners. All of the students' suggestions are right, if that is how they interpret it. I wish you well, blah, blah, blah. So, we're all right. That's great news. So you can have some fun listening to this, imagining some of the imagery of the knight riding down the cobblestone, and you can come up with your own idea for his unfortunate demise at the end. This is Rob Grice and The Knight's Last Ride.